This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Foster Lyons, and I'm down in Clinch County, Georgia. Doing what we do, and that's keeping the people informed. Run down the This is a new year, 2015.
Well, we went first, we didn't go second.
Morning, y'all. Good morning.
And I have 2 oaths that need to be administered this morning to our newly elected officials. We'll do ladies first.
You ready? Man, do we need to stand together?
No, you good.
Raise your right hand. I, Deborah D. Thomas and Kent McLean, do swear or affirm that I will well and truly discharge the duties of Commissioner for Clinch County in all matters which require my official action to the best of my knowledge and skill. And I will so act as in my judgment will be most conducive to the welfare and best interests of the entire county. I have been a resident thereof for the time required by the Constitution and laws of this state. I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state, or of any political subdivision or authority thereof, that I am not the holder of any office of trust under the government of the U.S., any other state, or any foreign state which I am prohibited from holding by the laws of the state of Georgia, and that I am otherwise qualified to hold said office according to the Constitution of the U.S. and laws of Georgia, and that I will support the constitutions of the U.S. and of this state, so help me God. And I will do the loyalty oath. Excuse me, I'm congested this morning. I, Deborah D. Thomas and Kent McLean, citizens of Clinch County, Georgia, and being an employee of the Clinch County Board of Commissioners and a recipient of public funds for services rendered to such employment, and hereby solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the U.S. and the Constitution of Georgia, so help me God. I'll get y'all to sign, please.
There's out of ink right there. Let me borrow your pen.
Yeah.
Morning.
Morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge O'Berry.
Thank you.
At this time, we're gonna, call the official meeting to order. We're gonna have, our county attorney come forward at this time.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. You had an opportunity to read those.
make a motion with accept.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next matter on the agenda is the appointment of the chairman for 2015.
I would like to appoint Roger Metz as our chairman for 2015.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. You want to turn it over to the new chairman now, to the chairman now?
Yeah.
Well, before we go any further, let's have a prayer.
That worked out there. Father, once again, Lord, we thank you this day, Lord. We thank you for the blessing of the day, Lord, and we just thank you for allowing us to be here to come about and conduct the business of this county, Lord. And Father, we just pray that your blessing continue to be upon Clinch County and upon the city of Hummelville and other places, other cities and towns within our community, Lord. And Lord, we just ask your blessing to be upon every citizen here, Lord. And Father, once again, that everything we do this morning, help us do it, and let us do it in a way that's always pleasing to your eye. Lord, once again, we just ask that you continue to protect our employees and protect them as they go about their jobs and whatever responsibilities they have, Lord. And once again, Lord, we just simply ask you to bless this county. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
No. That's it right there, David. I want to thank the commission for having confidence in me to elect me as chairman, and appreciate the 2 years that you served as chairperson, Deborah. You did a good job. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, we got point of vice chairman.
I make the motion we continue to have Chad Brown as vice chairman.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Appointment of county clerk.
I would like to make the motion to appoint Sherry Michael as our county clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of county attorney.
I make a motion we continue to go with Chad Corley.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Amendment of the zoning ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to address the board on that zoning ordinance amendment.
Go ahead.
I want to be sure that we're all on the same page about this. It's my understanding that if you don't have municipal water like out in the county in certain places, that the state statute requires 1 acre. I think that's correct. The county attorney county administrator can back us up on that. And I think it's 21,780 square feet for a half an acre if you have municipal water. Okay, that looks good. The reason I brought this up, I know a lot of plats on a lot of people that's already surveyed out land and got it on record. And they've surveyed out 1 acre plats, some of them's got half acre plats. For example, the Cutting Farm LLC property that this board accepted the road right away, I think last month, is that correct? Weren't they correct last month? There's 16 of those lots are half an acre exactly, so we want to be sure that we don't do anything that would cause an uproar and have to have resurveyed and incur more cost and more money toward the taxpayer. They'd be able to do what they required to do. Now, they do have city water at Cutting, so that will take care of that, but I just wanted to be sure we're all on the same page, but I wanted to get an understanding myself as to what it was. Is that the way you see that, Jacqueline, you and Chad? It's 1 acre, 43,560, without municipal water.
And that is the state statute?
Yeah.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah, that's state.
That's the state statute.
Now, 21,780 square feet, which is a half an acre exactly. If you square that, it's 143.56 feet in all 4 directions. So some of the lots might be 100 by 210. So we have to be certain that you've got enough area to put the drain tile, sufficient drain tile in. So I don't think there'll be a question brought up about that because you can deviate the way you're going to do the drain tile. But that was the concern I had, to be certain that we don't overlap here and cause somebody to have to say, well, I had intended to give my son or daughter an acre of land to build a home on it, and I didn't give them deed but 8900s, are they gonna be grandfathered in? Or what, how are we gonna be cool about doing that?
It wouldn't be grandfathered in except for transfers that's already, conveyances that's already taken place. So if they platted it off and done a deed based on the plat, I think it would be grandfathered in. If they have not done a deed yet, I don't know that it would be.
Right. We have a lot of areas, not on the borders of the city, that's got city water run, but not, they don't have the availability of city sewers. That's one of my primary concerns. But if it's 43,560 square feet and 21,780 on the half, then that would be, that'll work. Right.
Since it's a change to the zoning ordinance, the commission would be required to publish notice in each county news and have a public hearing before the change could be made. The notice has to be at least 15 days, but no more than 45 days prior to the hearing. So we've got some time to, we can study it, we can make a determination first, or we can go ahead and publish a notice of hearing and study it in the meantime to see what kind of public feedback y'all get.
Great. That answered the question.
But now, all these people have already got everything established, and what, that would not affect them in any way whatsoever, would it?
No.
It would, to the extent that the state won't give them their permit, it will, but we have no control over that.
Right, you're talking about a septic tank permit?
Septic tank
permit,
permit.
okay.
And, I think that's the purpose of this, is to make sure people understand, we're not, we can trip people up after the fact, after they've already planned to do something, or, I think Jacqueline's thoughts are, maybe the commission thoughts are, we don't want to trip them up ahead of time and have them do a plat based on our zoning ordinance. Go to get their septic tank permit and be turned down. We'd rather have our zoning ordinance set up in a manner that they won't be denied, unless it still won't perk or whatever, but they won't be denied based on their lot size, and have citizens, say, well, we did a plat based on the zoning, and we can't even get a permit.
And so I think everybody in Cummings right now, I'm aware of it, I think they already have their septic tanks and everybody's in out there, I think, so that's already been approved, so. But they would be grandfathered in, all those people already there would be grandfathered in, is what we're saying, if we have that. Okay, that's the biggest thing.
I wouldn't think the state would go back and, try to do anything like that, but I know that inspector, when he goes around, he's one of the issues, not the commission don't issue septic tank.
So what we need to do on this, we need to go ahead and approve this, or we need to?
Well, we can't approve it till we have the publication in the paper, and also we need to vote to publish for a hearing on this zoning amendment if y'all want to proceed with it.
Okay. So you need a motion to?
We need a motion to run this in the paper and have a public hearing.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we do that.
I'll say the next regular meeting.
Yeah, for the February meeting.
You got a second? Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Okay. The 912 Club, Ms. Geraldine Ellis.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. Basically on the same thing that was on the last meeting. And I haven't seen any changes made yet. And people, I think when you hold office,
you don't supposed to favorize nobody. If it's meant for me, it should be meant for the next person. It's the same thing. But it's too much, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. But when you hold an office, I don't think it's supposed to be that way. If I come to you with a complaint, you're going to hear my complaint, but you could overlook the other fellow's complaint. I don't think that's right. And, you know, like where this District 4, that's another thing we need to discuss. And the 912 Club is supposed to be closed down, but they're having uses of the building right behind it, and the lights are still on. So if it was closed down, none of this shouldn't go on. Because just like things happen in the club 912, it still could happen by the other place being open down there. And just like I said, and I'll probably keep on saying it, if it wasn't for God's grace, my grandson probably would have been dead, because they almost beat him to death down there. It was 3 weeks before he could open his eyes. They were swole so bad. And it's just not, it's not right. And I think what goes on up here in the county commissioner meeting need to stay in the county's commission. Not get on the phone calling us and you need to come to the meeting, so and so gonna happen, and all that. They're gonna talk about this and they're gonna talk about that. That's not right. What goes on up here in the meeting should stay here in the meeting. Don't jump on the phone calling your friends and buddies to keep them happy. And one more thing I have here, I want to say, I want to ask Ms. Thomas, let me find it. Right here what Thomas said in the last meeting, that they're trying to draw her into this. No one is trying to draw her into nothing. We just want the right thing done. And she's been seen on the premises talking with Mr. Thomas down at 912. And I don't think that was right either. And at the last meeting, when all of that went on outside, I was told by one of close people that Mr. Thomas was told, you go ahead and do what you got to do, because ain't nothing gonna be to this. But I want something did about my grandson. So like I say, he could have been killed too if it wasn't for the grace of God. Because they didn't only beat him and kick him and stomp him, they pistol whipped him. He's right there by the counter where Roy Edmond, he was running the place. But when the officers went and questioned him about it, he said he didn't see nothing. This is the counter. That's the floor. You can't see nobody getting beat up right there. It's all right if you want to help your friends, but help them in the right way. Don't kick me out to make yourself look good with the next person. And it's just not fair. And I don't have no hard feelings toward nobody. But I will say this, if it's not going to be did right, I suggest that Mr. Thomas resign, be took off the board. Because when they had all that going on about running across and Valamingo, now they called peoples in to get rid of Miss Cross and they locked Miss Mingo up. And you got the paper, it's on now, where all the signatures, that was for this. Signed. Okay, it's the last page. It's got Pam Welch, Deborah Thomas, Sherry Peterson, and Kirk Smith. Those were the ones that signed to have Miss Cross leave Clinch County.
I believe that's just says they were witnesses, doesn't it? They were witnesses for the
Yeah,
state.
it's all in there together.
Right, they were witnesses for the state. I don't think they signed
don't
her.
think
I
they said
know
they
they
should.
can, I know they can ask Ms. Crawford to leave the county or whatever. I don't think any of us has that authority. As commissioner or as commissioner board.
That's what I'm saying now. I don't think nobody have
Right.
that
I know I
authority,
don't.
but they
I know I
do it.
I know I don't have that authority.
They do it. And one more thing I want to say before I take my seat. I've been in Homerville a long time, 50 years. I'm getting old, my health is failing. Before I leave the face of this earth, I would truly like to see justice did in Clinch County when justice is due. And I would really love to see that. Not you watch my back, I watch yours. But just do the right thing. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Next, to address about 912 Club is Ms. Porter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here just to address the 912 Club from the aspect of wanting to make sure that proper action is being done to make sure this establishment is closed and closed the right way, stays closed. It's been declared a public nuisance, but like the lady before me said, there's still activity there. There's still active lights and water there. So it's not closed the way it should be closed, where nobody's able to go in and out of the establishments up there. My brother was killed at that club 2 years ago, in November 2 years ago. Nothing's ever been solved or done in reference to his murder. Nobody's seen anything. You know, it's an establishment where there's been a long history of violence, beatings, shootings. A young man was killed here in 2010, my brother 2012, another young man 2014. The lady who was just up here, her son was beaten severely the week before the killing in 2014. And I'm not one to get up and talk in front of people, but this is near and dear to my heart because that was my only brother. That was my sibling, my baby sibling. And I just feel like something needs to be done to make sure this place is closed down. You know, how many lives does it take to be killed before somebody does what really needs to be done? I'm not from Homeville. I'm not from Clinch County. I live in Waycross. But I felt this was important enough for me to take off my job and come over here, you know, and I'm not going to stop here because, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart. You know, I don't know how many people it's going to take to be just really hurt and killed in this place before what needs to be done is done. You know, I don't know what the name of it was back then, but I can remember being in high school going in that club years ago. That's been almost 25 years ago. And people walking around smoking marijuana freely. There was a big fight up there that night. So it's just a long history of that establishment of just illegal activity. And, you know, like I said, I'm not from here, but young people from these surrounding counties, they come here. Not just here, they frequent establishments, stores in surrounding counties all the time. That's why my brother was over here. He came over with friends. He wasn't even over there very long before he was shot and killed. His wife was 5 months pregnant. He had a 5-year-old child in kindergarten. Nothing's ever been done to solve his murder. We haven't heard, nothing. Haven't heard anything from anybody. Never heard anything from anybody from the city, you know, and I just think it's a terrible thing. But, I would like to know when is the hearing that's supposed to take place to make sure this club is closed down the way it needs to be closed down, you know. And somebody give us some answers.
Chad, what does that stand?
Well, the status of the nuisance lawsuit against the Thomases, Daryl Thomas and Jarvis Thomas. The lawsuit was filed June 23rd on behalf of the commission. They both have been served. At that time, they were served with an order signed by a Superior Court judge ordering that the place be shut down, no longer used as a 912 club or a nightclub, and to be padlocked. Hearing was scheduled within 30 days. The Thomases hired an attorney, and we subsequently entered into a consent order that temporary order signed by Superior Court judges to remain in effect until there is a hearing. I have not sought to set up a hearing necessarily because at the end of the hearing, the ruling we would get, we'd stand where we are now on a temporary basis. So we haven't pushed a hearing date. Their attorney pushed towards the end of last year in October or November, made some phone calls and wanted to set up a hearing. We had some conflicts of those dates in October and November. I think we had witness issues, having potential witnesses that might be out of town, this, that, and the other. So we just haven't discussed it since then. From the commission's perspective and also from the district attorney's perspective, because he's also filed a nuisance lawsuit, we stand in a great position now. We've got an order in effect that the place should be padlocked and not be used as a nightclub. And as far as I know, it is. Now the commission has been told on occasion or two about people congregating outside behind the establishment. I've never been clear on how many people that is, whether that's 5 people or 500 people or 50 people or what have you. But I don't think the commission's been told one single time that the establishment is open and being used as a nightclub since it was shut down in June. And if there is evidence to that effect, anybody in the audience can contact Jacqueline up here. Jacqueline can put you in contact with me. I can sit down and talk to somebody if there's evidence that the building is being used as a nightclub.
And I encourage you, if anybody goes by and sees that building open, not padlocked, I would urge you at that moment to call 911 and say that. And tell them that where it could be investigated immediately. And they'll send someone there if you find that building where it's not been padlocked.
Okay, I mean, that's basically all I had. I just wanted to address my concerns in reference to the club.
But Ms. Porter, to the best of our knowledge, that has been closed since the order and it's been padlocked since that time. And it's my feeling personally, I want to speak myself, that it will remain and stay that way until such time we have a hearing or somebody releases that happened outside of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Threats made to him and others, and 912 Club, Mr. George Ryan. Ryan.
My name is George Boston Rhymes, and I report to Getto Free Press. Dr. was supposed to be. I got a call last night that he had a medical condition. He will not be here today. I'd just like to say that I had a business here. I operated out of Valdosta, but I was down in the community here in the county for several years, selling retail items out of my van, New Mind Music and Fashion. And I too would like to see a peaceful solution with the 912 Club, and that's all I'm gonna say about the club. But I would like to say I was in the courtroom also when Rhonda Cross Scott went to court, and they banned her from the county. And I just would like, as the sister here said, for the law to be applied equally. When you read about the state of Georgia is called the most corrupt state in the United States, and they carry that title. And I believe that whatever efforts we do collectively, not only the elected officials, but we as citizens, will bring Georgia in a more favorable light, not only in the United States, but across the world. My last comment is more or less along the lines of a thank you. At the last meeting, I was here for the first time because I was called in to report, and I'm doing the same thing this evening. That's, information will be on Boston G.B.R. YouTube. But I would like to thank, after the threats was made on us, I was included in the group at that last meeting that they would kill all of us. I want to ask the black African Americans in particular, since that's what they seem to be, let us work together and try to resolve these things more peacefully. I really, with what I see, I go to a lot of cities here in the state of Georgia, and I highlight the problem. They're on my YouTube channel. And I just hate what I see. I'm a retired veteran. I put 21 years in the armed forces. I retired in '91. And in closing, I want to say what I started out by saying. I want to thank the Sheriff Department, because one of your deputies kept peace out there. And I want to thank you for that. And although often law enforcement get a bad name, but when we need help, you're there. And I think what Bob Worthy highlighted the other day out there, what was going on. And the officer, I think he handled it in a professional manner. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that. So, Clinch County. And one other thing I got to say too. When I walked in this door and I watched how you all say good morning, I go to a lot of meetings. And I must say that was very soothing to me. You'd be surprised what's going on in some of the other meetings that I've been to. I'm serious. You see it on YouTube, and it just don't make sense. So I want to commend you on that, and everything is not always negative. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Address 912 Club, Mr. Leroy Burton. Burton.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm here for a twofold reason. And with all fairness, I try to be reasonable in my thinking and my way of feeling. I'm a Christian man. I don't believe in violence in the community. But I want to address this 912 Club first, and then I'll talk about another issue here. The 912 Club, run by operated by Mr. Darrell Thomas. he's a businessman, small businessman, considered a small businessman in this town. And I heard Chad say that that legal matter is in court right now, correct? All right. So before we judge whether to close Mr. Thomas down, I think that in all fairness, he should be given the right to a trial. And if the commissioner and the judge close it, then that'd be the only legal way to do it. But I don't think we should just jump to conclusion and say that. Now, while this was an unfortunate act that happened at the 912 Club, and a few other things have happened over the years, I don't think Mr. Thomas was over the club at that time. But out of fairness to Mr. Thomas, I don't think he has any way of controlling what goes on in that place and who hangs around it. Now, if somebody around there sees something going down, it is as a community, it is up to us to report gangland violence or rivalry and dope selling and anything else. But until we witness it and not report it, but then charge him with that, or charge him being in charge of that incident or over it or having control of it, is out of his hands. He's trying to make a living like everyone else, and it is unfortunate. I'm sorry for the family and the young man that lost his life down there. I really am. I regret that. I hate it. I'm saddened by it. And, you know, but the community as a whole has got to stick together to build up each other and build back what we've lost from that. And by struggling and going at each other on and attacking each other and pulling down, we're not going to get anywhere like that. We need to come together with some common reasoning and put together a plan so this type of thing will not happen again. The sheriff here is a good sheriff, and his men are good men. I know each and every one of them. And I think they do a wonderful job also. So I just like to do the right thing. I don't want to deprive a man of the right to make a living if it's something that happens out of his control and someone lost their life. That is very sad. I'm sorry about that. And I do feel for the family. But I think that if we just give each other a chance and talk with each other, we can come up with a common solution to these problems. And like I said, you know, if we report, we see gangland violence and anything, some of us don't report it. But if we let the sheriff know, it could be cut down. The patrolman, we could put more patrol around, and we could just check out what's going on. The only other thing, I'm kind of nervous, y'all forgive me for nervousness. The other issue I want to address is Ms. Deborah Thomas. As y'all know, Ms. Thomas, myself, and one other black person served on as public servants in this town. And as far as I know, I've been reported, as far as you guys know too, Ms. Thomas has been doing a great job, excellent job. So I think it's wrong to attack her character in any kind of way because she had affiliation with Mr. Thomas or anybody else. When you say, I see a person talking to somebody, that doesn't mean that they're in cahoots together. You know, they could be talking about anything. I don't think they're related or anything like that. So she doesn't have any ulterior motives to want to try to enhance Mr. Thomas's place of business. But I just want to say, let's do the right thing. Let's come together as a community and a group as a whole. Because we're not going to get anywhere if we keep clawing at each other and pulling each other down like crabs in a barrel. So let's be right about this. Let's not be too hasty to jump to conclusions or make conclusions about the situation. Let us just work together to improve and build up our community together so these type incidents will not happen again. And I say this, and I'm close. That unfortunate incident at 912 Club, I had some notes, but I just decided not to use them. It could have happened any place. In a churchyard, and downtown, in the park, in schoolyard, anywhere. Because gangland rivalry is everywhere now, it's widespread. So that couldn't, you say, well, maybe closing the club down, that might not happen. Well, say if the club was closed, suppose I walked out that door right now, and somebody just coming on shooting, hit me, boom. What can I do about it? You know, when it's our time, it's our time. That's not no good way to say it, but, you know, I just don't condone wrongness. And, in fairness, in all fairness, I think everybody deserves an opportunity to have a fair trial in court before any decisions be abruptly made. And let's just think on that and work on that and see that everything is done in fairness and good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That concludes. Hold on. That concludes the agenda.
Sure.
But anybody else wants to speak to the commission? If they do, Please come one at a time to the podium and recognize yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know I'm not actually on the agenda, and I appreciate you, council, for allowing me to come up here. and speak.
Everyone's gonna have a chance to speak if they want to.
This is in reference to the 912 Club. Ms. Porter that just actually spoke is my mother. Her brother that she's speaking of was my uncle. He's the one that I grew up very closely with. As a healthcare professional myself, with multiple degrees in various different aspects of the healthcare field, I've dealt with many families. I've dealt with hardships. I've dealt with health and death. And we all know that it's nothing that you deal with lightly, nothing that you take lightly. Especially being from the South, we know what it means to have a tight-knit family and what it means to have someone pass away or to leave you unexpectedly. I feel as though a lot of things have been said here today that address the issue of the 912 Club, and I can understand the aspect of being a small business owner and wanting to make a living, want to be able to take care and support yourself and your family. But I think at that point we begin to deliver a message. And that message is, it's actually a question. We're asking ourselves, what do we value more, the dollar or the life of a human being? At what point do we say to ourselves that you cannot value the man-made dollar more than you do the life of an individual? None of us, just like our fingerprints, are identical. When that is gone from this earth, it is gone forever. You have your memories, you have your pictures, you have your thoughts, you have all of those things, but you do not have that individual. I myself, I'm 25 years old. My uncle was 8 years older than me. I know him like my uncle. I know him like a father figure. I know him like a friend. But you know what? The only thing I can know about him is the things that I shared with him. I can no longer know him on this earth. One day I will have my transition to heaven and I can be with him again, but at this point, this very day right now, I don't have him with me. Neither do my cousins. And we have to know what it's like to have had him around, though he's not here anymore. To say that an incident such as his murder or the murders that took place at the 912 Club could happen anywhere is very true. But at the same time, we have to consider the aspect of where we're saying this actually occurred. We're talking about a gathering, a location. We gather at church, we gather at school. But the type of dealings that we allow to happen at those locations determines the outcomes of the things that happen when the people are there. You don't hear about shootings at church on a regular basis. You don't hear about shootings at school on a regular basis, despite what the news says. So what makes an establishment where you have people congregated together any different? It is not just the place where it is the people who are in there. Right. And whether or not you are saying that Mr. Thomas, is his last name, has the control of the people who are actually there, who has control of the actual happenings that are there, that's not true. It's absolutely not true. Because it's like you're saying that he relinquishes all responsibilities. If that is the case, you do not need to have a place of business. You do not need to have an establishment such as that. It's the same thing as being at your home. If someone gets injured at your home, you're responsible. As a decent, caring human being, as a Southern human being, we all know what it's like to have, you know, an emotional attachment when things occur at your home. I couldn't imagine a child or a person being slain or falling down or being injured at my home and not feel like I had some type of responsibility regardless of whether or not I actually took a part in that action. So to stand up here, regardless if you are supporting Mr. Thomas, it's somewhat of very much of an insult to the families and the people that have been lost. I myself, I've taken my own steps towards dealing with the actions that have occurred at that club, including the past killing, the slaying of my uncle, and the other individuals there. I myself have dug into the paperwork necessary to speak with the G.B.R. as far as going to even speaking with FBI agents. And after today, I would be joking, I would be kidding me if I did not say that it's fueled a fire in my stomach to restart that. Something needs to be done. If we can give self-respect, if we can give justice to animals, I would think we could do it to creatures that were created in God's image. Something needs to be done, and that's just as simple as that. And so help me, if it takes every inkling of me, if it takes me until the day that I leave this earth to go see the Lord myself, until I get to meet with my uncle again, today marks the day I'm going to do whatever it takes to help whoever I need to. If I have to drive to Homerville, I'm not even a resident of here. I no longer even live in Waycross myself. If I have to drive here every day to make sure that club is closed, so help me God, I'll do it. And I know no one in here knows me but my family members. They can tell you better than anybody. When I say I'm going to do something, it will be done. Thank you for your time, and I absolutely hope that all information related to what's going on with this club, this establishment, is made public, that everyone can see what is going on. Make sure that it's available to everyone, because I want to be there that day the hearing occurs. If I have to change my schedule around to make sure I work every day before and every day after, I want to be there. I want to be there if any charges are brought up. I want it to be made public if it has to be shouted from a rooftop or put in the newspaper. People need to be aware of what's going on there, because there's too much blood on the grounds of those premises, and there's too much blood on the grounds of the actual club. There's too much blood on the hands of the owners, no matter what they say. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
Sir, will you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Misha, M-E-S-I-A-H, Porter, P-O-R-T-E-R, Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
I'd like to say something.
Okay. Just say your name.
Okay, my name's Ty Thomas. All of you know me. I'm not here to point fingers or call names. The only reason I'm here is, like I told several other people, it don't matter to me whether 911 is open or whether it's closed. That's my opinion and that's my feeling. But what I'm concerned about is why we keep sending jobs away from this community. That's my problem. That's why I'm here. And I may be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's my concern. My concern is my children and my grandchildren, the environment that they're growing up in. I like to see this commission take a stand on something positive. Get some jobs in this community. You say you don't want them on the street selling drugs? Bring some jobs in. Everything that come in, you send it out of town. I don't understand that. I just want somebody to tell me where I need to go, who I need to talk to, that we can get it changed. We allow the liquor store to come in, but we send Walmart packing. Something that can employ people, get them off the streets. I mean, I don't understand it. Maybe somebody here can help me understand it. Or
Tie that with the car dealership, I think you're talking about across the street here, that has to do with the city.
Yeah.
That's the city, because Walmart would have been inside the city limits, and so the city deals with that itself. The commission has nothing to do with it.
It never come before us, Walmart or anything.
okay.
Well, brought up.
Well, I just want to know where. Like I say,
I would encourage you to go to the city council
Yeah.
meeting. And also, we have, we got the development authority, and of course, we have the development authority, is appointed by this board. Am I correct in that, saying that?
That's right.
And of course, what they've done now, they've hired a full-time person to try to go out and locate jobs and get feelers out and try to get people to come and advertise. Matter of fact, they did we had a retreat back in November, I think it was, sometime in the year. There was probably close to 100 people that were there, and trying to bring people to the community to see our community where they can consider locating here. So there are things that are being done, but Casey Dean would be someone that I would encourage you to talk with. She is the Executive Secretary of the Development Authority, and I would encourage you to talk with her.
Okay.
And of course, me, I support any kind of jobs coming into this community, or we need jobs.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's my sole purpose with
They,
it.
and they meet once a month, just like we do too.
Okay.
Meet
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 11:30?
Yeah.
Where at?
Right over here at
Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. Well, that's where I need to be at.
Yeah.
But I appreciate y'all allowing me to speak before you.
Yes, sir.
Run my center case when you leave.
Yeah.
Our office is over at the Chamber of Commerce.
All right,
And she should be there, okay?
all right, appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you, Ty.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yes, I would like to say something.
Okay, come right on, please.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Dylan Hayes, a resident at 57 Crescent Drive. The statement that I needed to make up here this morning doesn't pertain to anyone personal, but I would like to ask Mr. Buster Rhymes a question. I would like to know if it's okay if I speak with you after this meeting.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's safe.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'm just asking.
Oh yes.
I'm just asking.
Yes.
And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Georgia Johnson, and he was talking about the development, about the jobs, and with Casey. I talked to Casey last year, and her job is basically bringing in industry. And this is what she told me. It's basically bringing in industry. So when it comes right down to Walmart, that will have to take a different avenue. She said she had nothing to do with that aspect. Another thing I want to talk about is the 912 is off my radar. Either way, I'm not going either way, one way or the other. I do not plan to be either side, okay? But my thing is right now, is it's time for the community, the entire community, not just Pea Ridge, not just downtown, not just Happyville, wherever, the entire community, it's time for us to come together.
Amen.
It is 2015, and all this crap that's been going on all these years, it's time for it to stop. It's time for it to stop. I got up in my church yesterday, and I announced about the meeting this morning because I want more people to be involved. We got to come together. If we plan to live together, we have got to come together. We have got to make decisions together. Otherwise, we might as well just stop. One person, two people cannot run nothing. It's going to take all of us. And until we get this in our minds, we might as well just drop the whole bucket in the well. Because we're not going anywhere. We got to go forward, people. That's all there is to it. We got to go forward. If you stand in one spot, if I stand right here for the rest of the day, I'm not going nowhere, and nothing is coming in. Which we have got together. We have got to work together in order to get things done. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say at this point that we've heard many compassionate speeches here, and some of very good speeches.
Sure.
Eloquently, well-worded, and advocates for what they intend to believe in. And I see this thing as Georgia May just said, she in essence, summing up what she said, in every adversity that we face, there's a seed of opportunity to come together, to reconcile, to work together. And we need to look for it. Everybody, all the citizens need to look for it, black and white. I'm gravely concerned about several situations in this county. And we're all here to help each other. That's what it's all about. That's the end of my comment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one other thing I'd like to address.
Would you please come up?
Yeah. My name hasn't changed, but.
I was wondering, was you gonna change names?
The name hasn't changed.
Okay.
Well, we need some fire hydrants in
I
Sand
was
Hill
gonna bring that up.
community. We need to, if y'all will, put that on your docket. We don't have no fire protection out there at all.
I talked with Danny Cobb last week, and I told him that I would bring it up today,
Okay,
but I'll get with Jack and we get with the city,
okay.
see what we can do.
All right, let's see. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone? Anyone? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay. We appreciate all the comments. Yes, sir.
One more thing,
Oh, ma'am.
forgot
I'm sorry, Geraldine.
to mention. I'm still Geraldine Ellis.
You are?
But one thing I forgot to mention, that I've had several people come to me during the last meeting, is wanting to get warrants. So I haven't got mine yet, but I plan on getting one. And it's up to them whether they get theirs or not. I'm not calling no names, 'cause if they want to get theirs, that's them. But I will be getting one.
Okay. You know where to get them at. I just want. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Well, I figured you did. It ain't at the commissioner's office. Okay. Okay.
Well, before closing, Roger, I would like to say this, Porter family, I appreciate you coming. For the record, I want everybody to know, I think there's been a picture that has been painted that I am related to Mr. Thomas. That's not true. I'm an elected official, and I serve everybody. It is my duty to talk to everybody. I cannot discriminate, regardless. But those allegations, they're false. But if I'm seen talking to anybody, he's attended our church before. So what am I supposed to do? Just run, not talk to him? Anybody? That's not fair to no one. But I do want y'all to know this. After that shooting, I think it was May 10th, the next month, our commissioner, we had a meeting along with the DA, along with the sheriff's office, and we did shut the place down. So I don't know what's been told out there, but this board has done what we're supposed to do. Now it's in the court's hands. And we do want y'all to understand that we do sympathize. We sympathize with the Cross family. Everybody that has a child that has passed away, that's not an easy thing. So don't y'all think that we are against you guys and that we're here to hurt you or that we're trying to hide information or we're trying to cover up anything. This commission board is open. Our records is open. If y'all want to talk to anybody, feel free to do that. That's your right. That's your right. Whether you live here or not. So y'all feel free to do that. But I do want y'all to know that I'm not related to them, but I love them just like I love everybody else. There is no difference. You gotta love everybody if you want to live again and live with Christ. You gotta love everybody. And then when they were saying that I'm saying that it's personal to me because I'm the only African American on this board, and everything is being pointed at me. Everything is being pointed at me because of that fact. I hope that's the case, but that's not fair either. It's not fair either. So rather than Miss Georgia, she said a wonderful thing that we're supposed to be getting together, not continually tearing our community apart. We look bad. African Americans, y'all listen to me. I'm gonna be on YouTube. Thank you. Listen to me. It looks bad for us to continue to argue, to fuss, and to fight, and can't come to a common ground. The Bible tells us in all things get an understanding, and we should be trying to reason together instead of making up lies, making up allegations, and distorting the truth. God ain't pleased, and our community should be pleased. Shouldn't be pleased. Everybody that lives in Clinch County, we know what's going on. We know what's going on. So don't add nothing, don't take it away. I'm through.
Okay. Hear a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for being here, everybody. Thanks for the comment.
This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Ryan. We have watched very good inspirational meetings, and I want to thank the people of this great board. We say that the new chairman gave everybody an opportunity to speak, and this does not happen at every county commissioner's meeting. But I want to commend you. You did an excellent job in terms of hearing from the public. That's what our nation is all about.
Thank you.
Thank you. You brought some very good comments.
Thank you. Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter.
You know, thank you for your comments too, my brother. You did real good. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Those was outstanding words. I commend you. You did. Thank you, brother.
So who's on opposite sides of the team sometimes happens, right?